We see the headlines about massive lawsuits and market monopolies, but we rarely see the actual mechanics of how they're being fought. This is Econ Works. We look past the talking points to find where law, economics, and markets actually collide. Let's get into it.
So let's talk about an antitrust case that, on the surface, seems pretty straightforward. But when you peel back the layers, you realize it's not really about a monopoly at all. It's about a much bigger, more interesting question. When a cost gets added to the system, who ends up paying for it?
And this is where things get really weird. You've got the federal regulators who looked at this huge merger between two broadcast giants, Nexstar and TGNA, and gave it the green light. But then, not even 24 hours later, a bunch of states get together and sue to block the exact same deal. I mean, that almost never happens. It's like the referees started fighting each other in the middle of the game. And that tells you there's a really deep disagreement here about what antitrust law is even supposed to do.
And make no mistake, the stakes are huge. We're not talking about a small-time deal here. This is a $6.2 billion acquisition. If this thing goes through, it would create one of the biggest local TV station owners in the entire country. That's a ton of market power all in one place.
So that's the puzzle we're going to try to solve. When you have the feds and the states looking at the exact same facts and coming to completely opposite conclusions, who's right? And, what does that fight tell us about the real economic battle that's hiding just beneath the surface?
Okay, so to really get what this fight is all about, we've got to do a quick breakdown of how your TV bill actually works. It's a system with a couple of key players and one very, very important fee that's at the heart of this whole thing.
The entire argument, and I mean everything, boils down to this one term, retransmission consent fees. It's pretty simple, really. Your cable company or satellite provider, we'll call them the distributor, has to pay the local TV stations, the broadcasters, for the right to include their channels in your package. Think of it like a license fee. And this fee, right here, is the entire battleground.
And this chart breaks it down perfectly. The broadcaster, they've got the content. They negotiate a fee with the distributor, your Comcast or your DirecTV. Then the distributor bundles it all up and sells it to you, the customer. So the big question is, if that fee in the middle goes up, where does that extra money come from?
All right, let's look at the first argument. This is the case being made by the states who are suing to block the merger, and their position is super simple. This deal is going to hit you right in the wallet.
Their logic is really straightforward. They say, look, once this merger happens, the new, much bigger Nexstar Tegna is going to have way more leverage. They can walk into negotiations and demand much higher fees from the cable companies. And what are the cable companies going to do? Well, to protect their own profits, they're just going to pass that extra cost right along to you. The result? Your monthly TV bill goes up. Simple cause and effect.
But of course, Nexstar and Tegna have a completely different story. They push back hard, and they say the state's argument totally ignores a massive force that is reshaping the entire television industry.
Their whole counter-argument boils down to two little words: cord cutting. We all know what's happening. With so many streaming options out there, people are more sensitive to price than ever before. And the broadcasters say this creates a natural limit on how much anybody can really charge for old-school TV.
So here's their logic. If a distributor tries to pass on a higher fee to you by raising your bill, you'll just cancel and switch to streaming. Cable companies can't afford to lose subscribers, so they're stuck. They have no choice but to eat that higher cost themselves. So in this version of the story, your bill doesn't change, but the distributor's profits get squeezed. The fight is between the corporations, and you, the consumer, are left out of it.
So this, right here, this is the whole economic debate in a nutshell. It's what economists call a pass-through problem. Are those higher costs going to be passed through to you, the way the states argue, or are they going to be absorbed by the distributor, like the broadcasters claim? And the answer to that question really depends on just how sensitive you, the viewer, are to price changes.
And this is what makes this whole case so interesting and so different. It's not just about a single merger or whether your cable bill goes up a few bucks. It's forcing us to ask a much bigger question about what the goal of antitrust regulation even is anymore.
And here's the real strategic insight. It's possible the state's lawsuit isn't actually designed to win. I mean, trying to block a deal the feds already approved, that's a serious uphill battle. Instead, the lawsuit itself becomes a weapon. By slowing things down, creating uncertainty, it pressures Nexstar to come back to the table and offer some concessions, like maybe agreeing to limit fee increases in some cities. It's not about killing the deal, it's about reshaping it.
And that leaves us with this final, really important question. If a merger doesn't actually raise prices for you, but just moves billions of dollars in profit from one type of company to another, has competition really been harmed? When regulators jump into that kind of fight, are they protecting consumers, or are they just picking which corporation gets to win? It's a question that gets to the very core of what we want our regulators to be doing in the first place.
Thanks for watching. For the deep dive economic analysis behind these stories, join us at econworks.com. Subscribe to stay informed on where law and economics meet the market. We'll see you in the next episode.